on live to show you some potentially severe weather in Mississippi. This storm is coming out of Arkansas, passed through Dermont and south of Arkansas City, going in to extreme northern Washington and western Bolivar County. This system is losing strength as it crosses the Mississippi River, but it does pose still a little bit of threat. You can see this rotation over here near Arkansas City. It looks like it's widening out in its rotation. Taking a look at some of the different radar products, you can see this. I would suspect the area of rotation to be relatively over Arkansas City right now, crossing the Mississippi River. If you're in Benoit, I would be in your tornado safe spot immediately. Benoit, this is on the western side of Bolivar County in our western Mississippi, Mississippi Delta. I've spent a summer there in Bolivar County. I know the area here. It's relatively mostly farmland, but there are people that still live in these rural areas of Benoit. Um, as well as Shaw. That's where I worked, in Cleveland, where I live. Cleveland, you're also in the path of this storm, so make sure you take this storm seriously as it is tornado warned. We'll have to wait and see how it progresses to see if the National Weather Service in Memphis will continue this warning out until or for the rest of Bolivar County. If they do, it looks like the southern edge, Shaw, Boyle, Cleveland, even up to Marigold could be in the possible path of this storm, and also Ruleville, I believe you are also in the path. Let me just take a look. This cell, um, this thing has a shows depicts the different cells. It's moving northeast at around 60 knots. Um, so Boyle 1054, uh, all the way out to Ruleville and Drew. Um, that would be around 1209, then continuing on its north westerly track about an hour out into Webb Summer, as well, getting approaching Charleston. But either which way, this severe this tornado warning doesn't just pose the threat of having a tornado, but also has the possibility of extremely high winds. If we go back to reflectivity, as you can see, that it is a very wide spread of reflectivity, and these markers are relatively high in the atmosphere, but they're reading. It looks like over between 40 and 50 miles per hour, so it's relatively strong gusty winds out ahead of this. And if you look back onto reflectivity, you can see how this storm is kind of bowing out a little bit. That just shows you the strength of the winds coming out of the north and to the west as it comes into Mississippi. So if you're in places like Greenville and as well as Leland, that's also a big factor. Straight line winds could be approaching your area, or even having had some strong winds north of Lake Village, Arkansas, as this storm approached. They have, I think, limited the tornado warning for Choctaw, or uh, let's see, um, it's not Choctaw County, it's Chico, Chico County. Yeah, that's right. I lived in Arkansas for so many years, I should know how to pronounce that county. Uh, but that is, they're limiting out of uh, Chico County, and most of it is moving across the Mississippi River at this point in time. Go back to reflectivity. As you can see, this is relatively a wide spread of reflectivity. This is now to the east of Arkansas City, to the west of Benoit. As it goes through, looks to be um, southern Bolivar County in in western Mississippi. This will continue along this line. It looks like it could be coming into Cleveland as well as Boyle in let's see, in the next 10 minutes or so, as it crosses Bolivar County. Um, but the good thing is that there is a sign of weakening. The rotation. Let's see. I wanted to go to a different product here. It's still in between Arkansas City and Benoit. If you're in Benoit, you definitely need to take cover immediately. Um, if if there is a tornado within the storm, that is going to cause some damage. But at the same time, the strong winds from it is also very hazardous. Let me just take a look at the one of these radar products. As you can see, there's probably even some hail embedded within this storm. Let me take you to a different view. Um, looks like most of the hail cores looks to be down to the south. So anywhere in Chico County, Lake Village could possibly even seeing some um, possibility of seeing hail. Um, and another thing is the rainfall in general. We're getting rainfall amounts anywhere from a half an inch up to an inch or more per hour within this storm alone. And this storm has indicated, let's see how much storm total so far, anywhere from one to one to 1.5 or 2.5 inches of rain. So you not only have the wind threat, the possibility of a tornado threat, but you also have the possibility of flooding within the area. Let's go back into reflectivity. As you can see, very heavy um, rain is going across the Mississippi Delta. It looks like they have cut back the tornado warning for northern Washington County, as the tornado or the circulation is more off to the north of Washington County as it crosses into Mississippi, going back to velocity. And as you can see, it's right now it's heading right into Benoit. Um, it's heading to the northeast, so anywhere from Cleveland up even Renova, Drew, Ruleville. You need to take this thing seriously, as well as Boyle, as this continues to move off to the north and to the east. You're just going to take a few looks at products. I think this rotation is probably going to be right in here in between Arkansas City and Benoit. Not let's see, not showing relatively high amounts of possible debris, but this area right here, just to the west or to the east, excuse me, of Arkansas City, down to the south into the south into the east or west of Benoit, is really causing me a little bit of hesitance right now. It's not necessarily showing full on um, very strong signature of a tornado, but at the same time, it is definitely going to be causing some high winds as well as heavy rain as it moves across. Let's take a look at the rest of Mississippi while we're at it. That is the only, I will say, not necessarily only, there is one severe thunderstorm warning for, let's see where this area is. Um, it's in relatively rural parts across the river from Lake Providence in Mayersville. Severe thunderstorm warning going on there. I think they'll probably, if this continues to strengthen, they'll probably issue it more for the next county over. This is to the west of Yazoo City and also to the south of the Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi line. Um, take a that is the only other warning I believe issued for Mississippi, but we're still seeing a lot of rain all around the Mississippi Delta right now. Indianola, Cleveland, Greenwood, even up to Clarksdale, Batesville, Grenada. Seeing a lot of rain and a lot of lightning with these storms, which is kind of a good thing right here. All this rain, it's helping just to stabilize the atmosphere a little bit, so our potential for severe weather is going to be relatively low. We just have to deal with areas down here to the south of Rosedale as well. going down the river down to Natchez. I think that's where the most of the bulk on the front edge of this line um, will relatively be severe. Now going back down into the tornado warned area of this storm, this tornado warning goes on until 12 o'clock, so we have about 15 minutes left on this warning. Uh, just taking a look at the different products, radar products, that you can see there's some very wide rotation. Not giving me a too good of an indication um, where this is. I'm trying to get this thing to reload here. Um, it's 5 minutes or 9 minutes old. Let me see if I can get it to. Yeah, that's not gonna be helpful. Um, it's kind of bad when the radar systems are not really working with you during this time, but you can see this broad area of rotation in western Bolivar County, um, going off into the northeast, so anywhere from Benoit, possibly down to Shaw, as well as Boyle and Cleveland, um, and Pace. You're in the path of this storm. Relatively high gusty winds are probably the major constructs of the storm and going to be the major threats here. Okay, we did get an updated image of the storm relative velocity. So this is the motion inside the storm itself. You can see it's also moved off to the east as it's projected. It's past Benoit right now. I believe it looks to be in between Shaw and Benoit. This is relatively rural farmland area, but there are still a few people that live out here in Bolivar County. But this is going to looks like it's trying with the rotation being so broad. I don't really expect the National Weather Service to continue the warning uh, for much longer than 12 o'clock. But we'll also have to just wait and see what the National Weather Service does with this. It looks like the storm is relatively weakening as it crossed the Mississippi River, and if you can, I'm going to put a kind of like a timeline on this, animate this a little bit. As you can see, it went through Dumont and it's crossed the Mississippi River, but it's just kind of just breaking up as it crosses the Mississippi River. There's a lot less lightning, a lot less intensity on radar. Most actually, the what I'm more concerned with is down to the south, um, coming into Greenville, as well as Leland. This heavy rain coming out of Lake Village and between Lake Village and Greenville along the Mississippi River. That's going to be some heavy rain over the next 30 minutes to an hour or so for Greenville. As you can see, there's flash flood warnings in effect. Let's see, what counties are these for? Ashley and Chico counties in Arkansas until 2:45 a.m. with all this rain that they have gotten over the past few hours. Really having some big flooding issues across Arkansas as these storms have gone through there. Just taking a look at how much rain they have gotten over the past several hours, anywhere from 1 inch to around up to 2.5 inches in some places up here, just to the west of Dermont to McGee, Arkansas. Um, as that has moved off to the northeast, I would expect some flash flood warnings to be issued for the counties here in Mississippi as this rainfall continues. Let's see the over the past. Let's take a look at the 1 hour rainfall if I can find it again. There we go. 1 hour rainfall, as you can see, we have rainfall here down in Lake Village, south of Lake Village, around the Portland area in Arkansas, anywhere as much as 1.5 inches per hour or so. So flooding is definitely going to be a cause as it goes into Mississippi. For us here in Starkville, however, we are in the clear right now. We're really not going to expect much until after midnight, and hopefully we can get some of this lighter stuff that's occurring here in Yazoo City, trying to help stabilize the atmosphere a little bit more um, than it is. I'm going to take a look at um, just take a look and see. All right. Okay. Trying to see um, just what this is doing. Let me go to the National Weather Service's website. Trying to give you an idea of what the temperature is in and around Starkville. Right now in Starkville, it looks like we're running around 70 degrees at the Golden Triangle Regional Airport. The dew points are in the um, low to mid 50s. Not necessarily conducive to severe weather, but you can see we're also having some gusts up to 20 or up to 33 miles per hour. Very strong gusty winds. Sustained winds around 21 miles per hour, so it's relatively breezy. And overnight tonight, we should be able to see a lot of heavy rain, heavy downpours, possible thunderstorms, some of which can be severe as we go through the next several hours. Um, let's see here if, see, I don't know, I think I'm live, but, oh, the revolution, okay, the resolution. It's not necessarily beneficial for it. Let me go ahead and I want to stop this live feed for just a few minutes um, and figure out the better resolution side. I think what YouTube has done, they've kind of created a different sort of live streaming that I am not too familiar with. So I'm just going to take a break for the next few minutes and see what is going on. All right, everyone, welcome back. I just took a look at a few things to see how this thing was holding up, and it looks like we're live, and it looks like we are having good streaming quality for the most part. So we have this tornado warning in effect for the next 4 minutes or so. It looks like the National Weather Service is not necessarily going to issue on this warning. As you can see, this rotation has pretty much widened out, but that's not. Still want to take this seriously. It's going to be very strong winds coming in through Boyle and Cleveland, as well as Marigold as you go up to north to Mount Bayou. Um, Storm has weakened overall. He put this radar into motion. As you see, it was strengthening at one point, but now it's kind of taken more to a southerly approach to this. So people in Shaw, you're about to see a downpour of heavier rain than you already are seeing at the current moment. But on the good side, it looks like we are relatively in the. I won't say we're relatively in the clear. That's not necessarily good verbiage to use, but this is looking a lot less pronounced than it was a lot earlier. Even the national, or not the National Weather Service, but the Weather Channel I have them on here in the room, and they're not necessarily saying much about this storm here. I think they even indicated that it's weakening, but we do have to remember that we're still under a tornado watch for western Mississippi um, in the Jackson or National Weather Service area until around 5 o'clock in the morning. could be a possibility that the Storm Protection Center extends that to the eastern parts of Mississippi.